Okay, let us start the lecture of mechatronics. Uh, I hope I am audible to all. Now, actually, I was on leave, so this lecture is going after a long time, but we'll finish the mechatronics syllabus within time. Actually, just take one review of the syllabus and see the remaining part for the unit 2. So if you see the syllabus, so we have covered the serial number 1 introduction part, and we are in the this second part. So there are two parts in the unit 2. We have already covered the first, that is the upper part. In the lower part, we are talking about the electrical and electronic systems. In this, we will see the electrical circuit like your DC circuit and AC circuit. We have already covered, and Kirchhoff's laws, that is KVL, KCL, and different network theorems. These theorems are Thevenin's theorems, Norton's theorem, superposition theorem, and maximum power transfer theorem. And then AC circuit analysis. So as we compare the DC circuit with the AC circuit in terms of parameters, a number of parameters is going to be increased for the AC circuit analysis. That is, uh, if you see the behavior of AC circuit, it is alternating type in nature. So it sweeps equal in the positive side and the negative side. So for any pure AC circuit, if you find the average value, it is going to be 0, because generally the average value for any waveforms is area under covered, considering the positive sign and the negative sign. So here you can see that the positive area and the negative area is going to be equal. So for AC circuit, average value is going to be 0. So the solution is, we always talk about the RMS. You all aware about the RMS value, that is root mean squared, and sometimes it is called the true value. So as a mechanical engineer, you should know that the rated value for any AC devices is your this RMS value, root mean squared. For example, it is very common, you can see on any AC devices, that it is working on 220 volt single phase. So the meaning is that this 220 volt is the root mean squared value, that is called the true value, and circuit working on a single phase means it has a one you can say positive wire with respect to the neutral. So generally we told that it is one is hot wire and other is a neutral wire. Sometimes you will see that for a heavy machine or for a three-phase type of machine, you can see the three-phase induction motor like that. So three-phase machine means uh, the energizing AC signals is of three-phase type, that is RYB, red, yellow, and blue, and it can be uh, organized in two ways. The first is in the star way, and the second is delta ways. Generally, these all are in the star. Star means this all RYB voltages are taken with respect to the neutral. Means there is a 4 wire, uh, three are the main and one is the neutral. Neutral point must be there for the star connections. So generally we talk about the voltage of Yn, means the yellow with respect to the neutral, the red with respect to the neutral, and the blue with respect to the neutral. The RYB color is very famous for the three-phase application either in the home appliances or for the industry appliances. Now, as you see your syllabus, uh, one more important is your transformers. So let us small talk about the transformers, because for any type of project, if you are designing a project, there is a requirement of transformers. Generally there are two types of transformer. It is called as step up and step down transformers. So I am just hiding the syllabus, and I am going to talk about the transformers, and here I will show the basic construction of the transformers. Today's target is I am going to cover this transformer, analog devices, signal conditioning circuit, and then DAS, that is called the data acquisition systems. In next class, I will give you a brief lecture on the digital electronics, but I hope you all are at least good aware about the digital electronics. So again, this all topic, that is either the DC circuit, AC circuit, network theorems, transformers, these all are the part of basic electrical engineering, which was taught to you in first year. But since it is in your syllabus, it means you need a revision on this. So generally transformers are classified into two types. One is a step down transformer and other is a step up transformer. It is a two port device, means one is the input port and other is the output port. Apart from these two types, a step up transformer and a step down transformers, one more transformers available in the market, that is called the impedance matching transformer. Actually, the decision of step up, step down is decided by the number of turns. Number of turns means when you see the internal construction of the transformer, there is a two windings. One is called the primary winding, which is at the input side, and other is called the secondary winding, which is at the output side. So the voltage given to the input side is either going to be increased or decreased at the output side depending on the number of terms at the primary side and the secondary side, and it is a directly proportional, means voltage generated at the secondary side depends on the number of turns at the secondary side with respect to the number of turns at the primary side. And it is very famous formula that is called as a turns ratio. It is NP by NN, that is number of turns at the primary side divided by number of turns at the secondary side, is equal to the voltage given at the primary side, means voltage given at the input side, with respect to the voltage obtained at the second port, that is the output side. Means the ratio of number of turns is directly proportional to the ratios of voltage. Means suppose I am taking one example. The example is that at the primary side the number of turns is 50, and at the secondary side the number of turns is 100. So turns ratio is 100 by 50, that is 2. It means it is a step up transformer. If you are giving 220 volt at the input side, it is going to be increased double at the output side, depending on the other biasing conditions. In a step down transformer, which is generally used in the supply of electricity, most probably you will see a heavy transformer in your locality, that is all the step down transformer. uh, it may be possible that in your project you will use the transformer which is again the step down transformer. So in a step down transformer, the number of turns at the secondary side is always lesser than the number of turns at the primary side. As well as, apart from increasing and decreasing the voltage, transformers are very useful in electrical isolations. So it is not only providing the decreased voltage or increased voltage, it also provides the electrical isolations, because when you see the internal construction of transformer, there is a no physical contact between uh, primary turns and the secondary turns, because it will work on the magnetic fluxes. As you energize the primary windings, there is a generation of magnetic lines, and the secondary winding is in the vicinity of primary winding. So the magnetic lines cuts some cross-sectional area of the secondary winding, and correspondingly, based on the Faraday's law, the secondary winding is going to be energized. It may be possibility to for the losses, because magnetic lines are not going to be confined within the air. So to make it more and more confined, we use the cores. Cores means it is a soft iron types of material which provides the path for the magnetic lines, or you can say provides the path for the fluxes, so that the maximum magnetic lines is going to be cut the cross sectional area of the secondary winding, and hence the EMF produced in the secondary winding is available at the output ports as a voltage. So due to this magnetic cores which is in the laminated form, we will increase the uh, efficiency of transformer, and efficiency of transformer is a very high. Actually it is a non-stationary it is a stationary device, it is a non-moving device. So there is a very less chances for the losses, as losses are within 5%. So roughly you can estimate the efficiency of transformer is up to 95 to the 98%. So it is a very simple, robust type of devices which provides the increased and decreased voltage depending on the number of turns, as well as electrical isolations. Where there is a transformer, there is a very less chance, actually there is a no chance to harm your project by the some uh, mismatching or some fluctuations in the supply voltages. If there is a fluctuation in the supply voltages, there must be some fluctuations in your project, but uh, there is a no direct uh, contact, physical contact of the two turns, and its limitations of fluctuations. So when you are using the step down transformer, the fluctuations at the primary side is very high compared to the secondary side at the output. So you are getting the electrical isolations also. So remember two things: you should use the step down transformer for your project purpose as well as the electrical isolation purpose. Now let us see very quickly the construction of your transformer. See, this is the sketch construction. It is a not a 3D diagram. Just you can see that there is a iron core. It is a laminated type, separated. A number of laminations is are used for iron core, and the purpose behind the laminated is to decrease the losses. There is a one primary turns and there is a one secondary turns. Primary turns is generally for supply voltage. There is a AC supply, and at the secondary turns there is a you can use your project as a load. So the voltage produced at the primary side is called Vp, current is Ip. For the secondary side it is Vs and Is. So you can see the turns ratio for the transformer, which is very useful, and turns ratio is this one, this highlighted area. Number of primary turns Np divided by Ns is equal to Vp by Vs. But when you compare with the current, it is going to be reverse. For that, Ns by Np is equal to Ip by Is, because it depends on the Ohm's law. V is equal to IR. So when it is in the reverse form, B divided by I is equal to R. So your resistance is, you can take as a constant. So for the current it is reverse, but generally you can remember the turns ratio as Np by Ns is equal to Vp by Vs. Number of losses occurs in the transformer. That is, one is called the copper loss, second is called the hysteresis loss, then eddy current losses due to the magnetic lines. So you can see here these magnetic lines are circulating, lines of magnetic flux is circulating from the primary side to the secondary side, but uh, you can say 95% of lines are circulating in this, and there is a no direct contact, physical contact, electrical contact you can say. So transformers are considered as a electrically isolated device. So it is very useful device for a project purpose. I hope it is sufficient for the transformer. If you have any doubt for the basic of transformer, you can ask. So is there any doubt for the transformer? Anyone? You can write in your chat box either is there is a doubt or no doubt. No one is here. Yeah, is it? I think it is a very small. Actually, when you see your syllabus, it is just introductory part of a transformer. So it is not like a first year, because first year the transformer is a complete unit. So for that we have to solve the numerical and the various parts of the transformer, various losses. But you can expect only normal one questions: what is transformer, types of transformers, and losses in the transformers, efficiency of transformer. So just these are sufficient for the examination point of view. After transformer, uh, the I am going to discuss the signal conditioning circuit. Now let us the next topic is signal conditioning circuit. So first understand what is the use of signal conditioning circuit in mechatronics. So up to this uh, part, uh, I hope you all understand about the basic concept of mechatronics. It is all about the game of sensor, microcontroller, and the actuators. So actually, a number of cascading devices maybe occurs. Cascading devices means, let us suppose you are uh, using a sensor, okay, and the output of sensor is maybe analog type or digital type depending on the quality of your sensors. But generally when you are taking a environmental sensor, for example there is a temperature sensors. So temperature sensors you are using to sense the uh, continuous changing temperature, because temperature is a continuous type of phenomena. So its output is analog type. Analog means continuous signal. But to make it to use the temperature sensor in a mechatronic system, there must be a controller. Controller means there must be a computer. Let us assume a computer. Your microcontroller is called the mini computer. So where I am using the controller, you can think about the your computer, mini PC, personal computer. So let us assume you are using a temperature sensor, which output is your um, analog electrical signal. Either it is a analog voltage signal or analog current signal. So there must be a requirement of one more electronics device, that is called the analog to digital converter, ADC, analog to digital converter. So the first cascading is between sensor and the, let us suppose this is sensor and the ADC. So output of sensor is going to become as an input of analog to digital converter. Similarly, the output of ADC, that is the digital signal 1010, formation of 1010, is going to the microcontroller. It means the output of ADC is going to become the input for the microcontroller. After processing the data within the microcontroller, you will take the output, means the output of microcontroller is going to become the input of DAC, that is digital to analog converter. And after converting into the analog, it will go to the actuator. Actuator may be a motor, maybe a any type device. I am just talking about a simple uh, mechatronics system. So a number of cascading systems are there. So if the output of a first device is going to become an input of a second device, we can roughly say it is in the cascaded manner. So cascading of 2 device, cascading of 3 device. So generally mechatronics, it may up to the 4 cascading, 5 cascading and 6 cascading. So there is a cascading. Now understand the challenges of cascading. What is the problem we occur for the cascading? Actually, for any device, there is a input dynamic range and output dynamic range. Input dynamic range is a quantity for a device, for electronics device, which can be sensed or which can be taken by a particular device. For example, I have a one ADC, analog to digital converter, and input dynamic range is, let us say, 1 to 5 volt. It means if at the input side analog voltage is from 1 volt to 5 volt, then it can convert into the digital form. Otherwise it will not sense the any voltages at the input side. If you go lower level to the 1 volt or higher level up after the 5 volt, it will not take the input, it will assume the input as a 0. So 1 volt to the 5 volt is called the input dynamic range. But what happened, generally the signal coming from the environment through the sensor is of very low voltages and distorted type, because in environment, if it is sensing the temperature, so sensing the 100% of temperature is not possible. It will sense the temperature as a main signal, and apart from that, a number of distortion noises added to the main signal, as well as the output of sensor is very small voltages. The output of the temperature sensor, you can assume in the range of millivolt. So the millivolt signal is not going to be sensed by the next devices, that is called the ADC. And if anyhow, if you are able to increase the voltages coming from the sensor, your noise is also going to be increased. So noisy signal again disturb the ADC, and if ADC converted the analog signal into the digital, it is a wrong conversion, because it also converts the noise apart from the signals. So between the sensor and ADC, there must be a requirement of a particular electronic system which makes the signal which coming from the sensor is suitable for the ADC at the input side. So we introduce a device that's name is called signal conditioning circuit. It will shape the signal, it will apply the some conditions on the signals which is coming from the sensors, and the output of signal conditioning circuit is such that now it is useful for your ADC devices. So for generally after every sensor there is a requirement of signal conditioning circuit. In signal conditioning circuit, a number of small components, electronics components may occurs, but generally at your level you should understand two things. One is called the amplifier and other is called the electrical filter. These two devices are essential requirement for the signal conditioning circuit. The first is amplifier and the second is electrical filter. Now let us understand what is the meaning of amplifier and electrical filter. As the name suggests, electrical filter, it will filter the signal in terms of frequency ranges. Let us suppose there is a need to filter out the high frequency. You can use the low pass filter. In low pass filter, lower frequencies are allowed and higher frequencies are going to be cut. If higher frequency required, go for the high pass filter. If a particular band is required, go for the band pass filter. So these 5 types of filters, electrical filters, are available. That is the low pass filter, high pass filter, band pass filter, band reject filter is also called the notch filter, and all pass filter. So out of these 5, 2 are very important, low pass filter and the band pass filter for the your mechatronic systems. Now come to the amplifier. Amplifier will amplify the signal level. So you can raise the question that if I am amplifying the signal, there is a possibility to amplify the noise also. Because let us suppose I have an amplifier which amplification factor is 5. So your signal is going to be multiplied by 5 as well as your noise is also multiplied by the 5. So there is no impact on the signal to noise ratio. So the solution is that for that case we will use the operational amplifier or differential amplifier. In last semester you will aware about the operational amplifier. So when you see the symbol of operational amplifier, it is a triangle type. There is a 2 input and 1 output, and 2 input is called the inverting input and non-inverting input, minus and plus. So the main function is it will reject the noise, because the function of operational amplifier or differential amplifier is that it will amplify the different signal. Means if you are applying the 1 volt at the positive and 1.1 volt at the negative, so your 0.1 volt, that is the difference, is going to be amplified by the operational amplifier or differential amplifier. It will not amplify the signal at the positive or negative. It always amplifies the difference of positive and negative. So let us assume you are taking one signal at the positive and one signal at the negative, and there must be a small difference. But the noise from the environment is coming at the positive and negative is same. So you are applying a V1 volt at the positive and V2 volt at the negative, but V1 plus Vs, let us suppose Vs is the noise signal, or Vn is the noise signal. So V1 plus Vn at the positive, V1 is the required signal and Vn is the noise signal, where at the negative side V2 is the required signal and plus Vn is the noise signal. So when you take the difference, your Vn is going to be cancelled out. So if you use the difference amplifier at the output side, the noise is going to be cancelled out. So this type of arrangement always take within the signal conditioning circuit. Sometimes, like a Wheatstone bridge, if you are using one arm of the Wheatstone bridge as a sensor, so without giving any signal conditioning circuit, you are biasing the Wheatstone bridge and taking the value of resistance of other arms such that it is able to amplify the signal. You can use the directly Wheatstone bridge. So I am just going to show you a diagram for the signal conditioning circuit, which I states that it always use after the sensor. Just take look for the signal conditioning circuit. So see, this is signal conditioning circuit. Signal conditioning circuits are used to process the output signal from sensors. Process the output signal from sensors of measurement system to be suitable for the next stage. And for next stage, I am talking about the ADC, analog to digital converter. So it always process the output signal. And you have one more topic, that is analog devices. If you see the syllabus, the topic is analog devices. So in analog devices, you have to take a review of operational amplifier, because operational amplifier is a good example and very useful for the other branches students. Other branch students can easily understand the operational amplifier. However, in analog devices, there is a op-amp, BJT, a number of devices are there, but you should only concentrate the operational amplifier. There is a properties of operational amplifier. Now inverting amplifier, non-inverting amplifier, voltage follower, voltage comparator. So these all are already covered in your last semester. But anyhow, if you are facing the problem in finding the transfer function of this inverting, non-inverting, voltage follower or comparator, if you are finding any problem, you can write in your chat box. I will discuss these all one by one: summing amplifier, differential amplifier, integrating amplifier, differential amplifier. So these all are covered in your last semester syllabus. In last semester syllabus, uh, I I expect only two things. One is digital electronics, and other is this operation amplifier. Apart from these two topics, I'll discuss all the topics. But uh, if anyhow in last semester you are not able to grasp these things, I will discuss it separately for you. There is no problem. I have a number of hours and number of time for these mechatronic subjects. So these all circuits uh, going to be merged in a single conditioning circuit. Sometimes you can use the summing amplifier, sometimes you can use the integrator, differentiator. So these all circuits are responsible for a signal conditioning circuit. But remember that signal conditioning circuit is not only a single circuit, it is a combination of more than two circuits. So the next topic is data acquisition system. I think uh, this DA system I will discuss in next lecture. So for today's, it is all about the your signal conditioning circuit, analog devices, and then these transformer and the AC circuits. In next lecture, after talking about the DA system, we will start the unit 3. Only one topic remaining for the unit 2. Is there any doubt? If there is any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, you can leave the class. Thank you. Mr. Bharat Kumar, any doubt? Deepak Sen, Bharat Kumar, Binod, any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, then you can leave the class. Deepak Pandey, leave the class. Binod.